Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk to you about my learning and attitude towards money, or what are the money rules applicable to me. So let me start. One is having a kid and having money has one common problem. God does not give you an operational manual. You have to create it yourself. And what works for one kid may not work for the other kid. So for each kid, you have to make your own operational manual, and 20 years later, it can look like you did a disastrous job, or that's what the kid thinks, or you think you've done a great job and the kid thinks you have not done a good job. And you also have to understand that you're not the judge, you're only the doer, and the judge is the kid. So same thing for money. You can start managing your money when you're 22, 23, or not even know that you have to manage your money till 32, and then you start and you live, you pitter patter ponder in your life and reach a particular stage, and there will be no jury out there to say whether you did a good job or did a bad job. For example, my father earned well, invested well, and paid salary, he paid his taxes, invested, earned his money, and he has lived and died, and he has left enough money for my mother to live for the rest of her life. So financially he is successful, there is no doubt about that. But you can talk about a person's success only after the person is dead, because things can go wrong till the last minute. You can do something very stupid and very wrong with your money. So how to handle money? You don't have an operational manual, you have to create it yourself. Second, I do not know how many points I have, but I'm just saying it is your money and you have a right to manage it or mismanage it. But a lot more money makes you overconfident about your ability to earn money. So some of us who have been in BFSI or in software, or some even in pharma, been very lucky that we have been in this golden period where a lot of golden dust fell on us just because we were standing next to the people creating the gold, like a Deepak Parekh or a Uday Kotak, Narayan Murthy, or what have you, right? Even the Taparia, Murugappa group, all of them, they were creating gold. We stood there and some of it fell on us, and rather than we creating the gold ourselves. So, but yes, golden dust, I have no complaints against gold dust. So money can be earned sometimes very easily, and sometimes it's far more difficult. And another thing which I keep telling people, that you can earn well does not mean you can manage it well, because becoming rich is easier, but staying rich is not so easy. So staying rich, again, I draw the distinction between staying rich and staying wealthy, because you can get rich and you can get poor, but once you get wealthy, it is very easy for you to stay there, but then you have to get wealthy, right? So getting wealthy means creating different sources of income, and all that has to be done, which means money has to be managed. Wealth has to be, money has to be earned, money has to be managed, but wealth has to be created. Wealth cannot be created just because you have earned well, it does not mean you're wealthy. Just because you have not earned well does not mean you're not wealthy, right? So all those things can happen. So the relationship between rich and wealthy is simple. Wealthy means you have more sources of income, and you are more confident of keeping at least 2-3 sources out of 4 in a worst case scenario. So each source is enough to meet your day-to-day expenses, so you're very comfortably off. That is wealthy, right? How to do charity? I have seen people doing charity. Like I know a person who will, when he is asked to do charity, he is now about 74 years of age, and when he is asked to do charity, he will not jump in and do the charity. He will wait, he will make sure that the person asks again, then he will make a trip. If he is convinced that it is a well-run charity, there are many people, there is a next in line command and all that, and he sees it as a good opportunity to invest. Like if you were going for a venture capital, would you like to invest in something like this? When he is convinced about that, then he doesn't even care for what he is giving money, he is happy to give money. But if he goes there and he finds out that they're doing a very good job, but they don't have any succession plan or things like that, then he will not pay for any capex, but he'll feed those children maybe for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, whatever, something. He'll pay for current expenses, because he says, well, I don't know how well they will use the money. I don't want to later on repent saying, oh, my money got wasted, somebody fought over it, and things like that. So that is his attitude towards doing charity, and there are various ways of doing charity. This is his attitude towards doing charity. how well you use your money and how smartly you use it for your own happiness is again something which you have to decide for yourself. There is no point in saying I've reached a stage in life when I need to use the money for my own health, but I will not use it because I'm afraid that it will be over. You need to use it. You need to understand that your children are there. They will take care of themselves. You need not leave anything in the will, right? The ability to spend is somewhere lost, because when you talk to some people, they will not tell you that it's a good restaurant. They'll tell you it's an inexpensive and good restaurant. So you know their attitude towards money is they have got to still save it, because even at the age of 60 they are still talking of earning and saving and things like that, even though they know and I know, and when we are talking about it, we both know, their spouses know that they have more money than what they need for. And still, if you can't enjoy your money, then which means you got something wrong in your operational manual, you got something wrong in your mental wiring for money, because your attitude towards money is a function of also what your spouse thinks about money. So maybe your spouse is scared, or her being scared is being passed on to you, or your being scared is passed on to her, whatever. So the easiest way to create more wealth is to save more, invest smartly in equities, and be patient. This combination is something which people will not do. They will do everything else. They will keep on reading about how Buffett made his millions, how Ambani made his millions, or should you invest in the Tata group or in Adani group. They will do all that kind of research, but saving more and investing that in equity for a longer period, this combination cannot go wrong. The extra 10% that you save and invest is going to be holding you in far greater stead than the alpha and beta that you're chasing, right? Even if you put money in an index fund by investing more, that will also create more wealth than all this alpha chasing that you do. Let me put in an opportunity fund, should I put in a US fund, should I put in a Europe fund, all those things. But the ground rule is very simple: saving more, investing more, longer period. This combination will definitely work better than any other thing. But a man or woman would do anything except these basic things, right? And the question also is what achievements of your children give you pleasure. So if you're from a rich big family and you're doing business and education has not been very important, then your children's academic achievements, like they presented a paper in school, they spoke to their office colleagues, and it was well received, those things get you far greater pleasure. But if you're a house which is very intellectual oriented, everybody has got a job, then the kid earning the first salary, maybe first tuition fees in class 11 or class 10, whatever they do, that gives you greater pleasure. So everything is relative. The question is how much more relative, right? For Musk, Elon Musk, making another $100 million would be completely irrelevant. But for 99% of the people watching this video, making that extra $1 million, which means about 7-8 crores, is going to be huge, right? So it's relative. The question is, will Musk be excited about a business where he will earn extra 1 million in a month or in a year? Very, very unlikely, right? He's looking to something to change the world and the way the world is run, the way the automobiles are being used, outer space travel, right? He's looking at those things. He's not looking at earning more money for himself. Of course, he's going to earn more money. There is no doubt about that. But that is not what is driving him. What is driving him is the ability to take risk and the willingness to say, yes, these things are a very high probability of it failing, but the fact that if it succeeds, there will be a hockey stick kind of a payoff, so therefore I will do. So his ability to understand risk, his ability is very different from mine or from yours. So you have to decide what is your ability to learn and read about risk. Sit with somebody big and that person tells you that this project will fail, and still you have the guts to go ahead and say, I can do it because I want to prove a point. It shows you have to have enough money to be able to do that, right? So also I've seen one thing, that when you take debt, it reduces your options. Look at Sri Lanka or Pakistan. Now if they go to IMF and say, I want debt, IMF is going to decide how they are going to manage their economies. So same thing, if you die uninsured or less insured, then your wife's life is going to be dictated by her employer because she cannot leave her job, or by your father who says now you don't need this big house, shift into a smaller house, I'll pay the rent or whatever. So, or by her father or her brother. That is the need for insurance. The need for insurance is not 10 years later how much will you get, will you get 6% return, will you get 8% return. That's not the question. If you die tonight, assuming you're a man and you've got 2 young children in school and a wife who has just lost the ability to earn because she's been busy looking after the kids, you need insurance to ask because your wife has to ask the question, if my husband were to die tonight, what will I do? Not if I die after 10 years, 5 years, 15 years. That's not the question. If you die tonight, how much money does your wife need? That's the question. So therefore you don't want her to go into debt, and also you don't want the children to lose one parent to death and one parent to a full-time job. So this is just my attitude towards money, and this is what I do, and thank you very much.